What's up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The military has shown off its CH-47 Chinook helicopters with a special training exercise held in front of news cameras. John Van Trieste takes a look at just what these helicopters can do.
A CH-47 Chinook helicopter lowers a water bucket into a reservoir in southern Taiwan. Though these military workhorses are most visible around National Day in October, when they hoist the national flag over Taipei, on this occasion the military is showing off the sorts of tasks its fleet of 8 CH-47 Chinooks performs for the rest of the year. One of its duties is hauling water in buckets like these, some holding up to 5,000 liters at a time. Taiwan does have occasional forest fires, and the ability to haul so much water made these helicopters invaluable during disasters like the 2021 Yushan fire. The crew doing a mock exercise for news cameras makes it look easy. But just attaching a load to the helicopter's underside takes practice and a coordinated effort.
我们会用口令引导，向前5、4、3、2、1，或者是如果超过勾接位置的话，会再引导飞机向后，然后以利勾接人员能够顺利勾接。
Though used till now in peacetime, the military says these helicopters are prepared for combat duty as well, both as logistical support and on the front line.
我们会协力地方的部队来执行油料及弹药的运补、伤患后送及战场搜救等任务。我们可以搭载武装兵进入指定的地区实施空中突击作战，更可以配合特战部队实施高空渗透。
The military hopes this demonstration will show its readiness whenever duty calls, for firefighting, for rescue, and even for war. Leon Lien and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Dragon Boat Festival long weekend just ended here in Taiwan. While many people took the chance to go abroad, there was plenty to do for those who chose to stay in the country. 888 upright watermelons line a road in southern Taiwan. An odd sight any other week, but this is Dragon Boat Festival weekend. People usually balance eggs upright on this holiday, believing it to be a sign of good luck in the coming year. Legend has it that the sun's position over the earth during this time makes it easier for eggs to stand up because of gravity. But instead of eggs, this part of Taiwan is using watermelons because they're a local specialty.
所以很多的西瓜种苗都是来自于我们屏东县的嘉东乡。
Another Dragon Boat Festival tradition takes place here at Sword Well in Taichung City in central Taiwan. The well is thought to have come about when a famous general stuck his sword into the ground and water swelled out. It's said the water from this well is teeming with powerful life force at noon on the day of the Dragon Boat Festival. People collect what's colloquially known as noon water for good luck.
这么多年了，我第一次知道这里有，第一次参加。
All 500 available bottles of the lucky water were snatched up, showing just how serious Dragon Boat Festival traditions are here in Taiwan. Some opted to travel abroad over the long weekend, but if attendance is anything to go by, domestic Dragon Boat Festival celebrations are still a strong draw for people in Taiwan. Hank Xu and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus. Taiwan is marking 80 years since U.S. warplanes tore through the skies of Taipei, carrying out the single deadliest bombing raid against the city of World War II. Bryn Thomas has more.
80 years ago, in the closing months of World War II, Zhang Jingzhao, then aged 15, was about to experience one of life's great milestones, her final day of school. But it isn't classmates or diplomas she remembers most vividly.
迄空手伊会对遐来呼呼叫，直直来偷啊来，拢无甲你动，拢无甲你迄啥，干安尼来，干安尼咱就惊甲心肝骨就砰砰菜啊。
The May 31st, 1945 air raid on Taipei was the worst to hit Taiwan during the war. The island, then a colony of the Japanese Empire, was a key strategic hub in Japan's war effort.
Japan had occupied Formosa, Korea, and part of China.
Taiwan plays a fundamental role in both trade, and due to its kind of maritime crossroads as one approaches Southeast Asia. Of course, and it also plays an important military hub as the war expands from the late 1930s, but then really with the Pacific War in the early 1940s because the majority of many ships will travel through that area.
The Allied air forces began bombing Taiwan in earnest in 1943, but early raids were sporadic, mostly carried out by smaller carrier-based planes with light payloads targeting industrial areas. Zhang Jingzhao could see and hear them from as far away as Xindian in what is now New Taipei.
They were hitting hard all over the map, all around the clock.
That个飞行机来控制阮的，头仔来是呼呼阮的，互恁大家走啊，迷魂大惊咧，尾仔来毋是哦，迄炸弹，安尼带咱这边线，安尼照过对面。
Lin Wenming was in Wanli in what is now New Taipei when it was attacked as part of U.S. bombings targeting the key port of nearby Geelong.
我跟我妈，那个做那个汽油车啊，火车啊，那时候也是汽油车嘛，都是站光复啊，在望里，在那高架里面，就美国的飞机来轰炸，4台就在轰炸。那时候我也很小，里面就死了好多人。
In May 1945, with Germany defeated, the U.S. turned its full might towards the Empire of Japan. On the final day of May, 117 heavier B-24 bombers left the recently liberated Philippines bound for Taipei, where they met almost no resistance.
迄B-29的迄个飞行机啊，一摆3只，一只做头前，啊2只做较步道边遐安尼，啊都3只各一堆，3只各一堆，规个天顶吼，安尼拢对迄甲飞来。 啊，飞对安尼入去，也安尼呼呼叫哦，规个天啊强要夹起来，呼呼叫，迄安尼，啊3台一堆，3台一堆，3台一堆，差不多早时10点，都来啊。
The bombings continued until about 1 in the afternoon, killing an estimated 3,000 people in just 3 hours. Around 3,000 bombs ravaged Taipei's central government district. Strategic sites like Taipei Main Station were hit, along with landmarks such as parks, what is now the presidential office, and Longshan Temple.
大路拢安尼烽烟散雾，安尼拢唔知哪会拢有，扫啥咧扫有火呢？沿路安尼听人咧吼，过来咧哭，过去咧哭，头声遐哦，安尼哭到吼。
The bombings brought the city to a standstill, driving home the fact that by May of 1945, the tide of war had turned firmly against the Japanese Empire.
Taiwan certainly felt the effects of the war. There was significant Allied bombing at various points in the war on Taipei and other cities, which essentially were considered to be under Japanese occupation, or at least part of the Japanese Empire.
Sources differ, but around 5,000 civilians in Taiwan were killed in air raids during World War II. Most of them on May 31st. 80 years later, the raid is only vaguely remembered, suppressed by Cold War narratives and overshadowed by far deadlier attacks elsewhere around the same time.
当阵无迄惊到都打都强要破去哦，迄做囡仔都惊到安尼啊，会使讲定定逐工嘛一个面青顺顺，我要惊死安尼。
Zhang Jingzhao still lives in Xindian in a small home surrounded by her children and grandchildren. Lin Wenming spent his life painting before retiring to Hualien. Their lives have spanned empires, republics, and generations, but the bombing of Taipei is something that they'll never forget. Ryan Wu, Ed Moon, Jeffrey Chen, and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
And thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, let's visit the Metropolitan Museum in New York to explore its recently reopened African art collection. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.